So many of my oomphs asked me how I tween, and I kept promising a tutorial since God knows when. So, today's the day. The name's Shy, and I'll show you how to tween in After Effects. By the end, you'll be able to make your character move on beat, have hair physics, and have them blink. This video includes chapters so you can skip to any part whenever. For this tutorial, you need After Effects, duh, an illustration software that supports PSD exporting and two awesome free plugins, a free plugin called AFPHairRIg and Powerloop. First, AFPHairRIg is a really cool plugin that's used to make your character's hair move. No shit, Sherlock. But also, it's used to create physics for other things like clothes and grass, and trust me, it's really easy to use. Second, Powerloop is going to make your animations loop in one click. Terms and conditions apply. Let me walk you through how to download each of them and set them up in After Effects. To get AFPHairRIg, head over to the link in my description and it should immediately download it for you. And once you extract it, it comes with complete installation instructions. But for the sake of this video, I'll walk you through only the necessary steps since a chunk of the instructions aren't needed for this tutorial. Head over to 1- copy scripts inside this folder to script UI panels. And we're basically going to do as it says. And then next you're going to head into your After Effects installation directory, and you're going to head inside support files, into scripts, script UI panels, and you just paste them there. Click the other link in my description, and before you panic, the plugin is free, and you can optionally pay to support its creator. Next, just extract the file and paste this powerloop.jsx bin into the script UI panels. When you open After Effects, it probably looks something like this. But we don't just want the default stuff, so let me show you how to integrate the two plugins into the UI for easier tweening. Under Window, if you follow my steps correctly, you should be able to see AFP Script Launcher and Powerloop at the very bottom. Select either one of these, and then it should pop up as a window. What we want to do is dock it under where you feel is most comfortable. For me, it's under the effects and presets as a tiny dock, because all we really need is AFPHairRIg. And as for Powerloop, I'm going to go back into Window, and I'm going to select Powerloop. So I'm going to dock it right next to AFP Script Launcher, and I just switch between the two whenever I need. Congrats! You got your plugins and you set up After Effects. Moving on to the artwork prep. Basically, you have to split your drawing into multiple parts. I won't go into too much detail on this, so I highly recommend you check out other videos on the topic. I made this Tomodachi Life animation a month before I filmed this, so I'm going to recreate it for educational purposes. If you'd like to support me, I'll leave the project file for $9 on VGen if you'd like to dissect and or follow along. Otherwise, keep watching for a brief walkthrough of how I drew my Sona for rigging. There are two main ways artists approach splitting characters. Normal artists usually draw every part of their character separately. A psychopath, on the other hand, draws and renders the whole thing, splits the final thing, and renders the gaps. Hi, by the way, I'm the psychopath in question. The general rule of thumb I follow: if it's gonna move, separate it. If not, combine all the still parts. For this illustration, I first plan what I think is gonna move. As per every animation meme, I want to make the head bop up and down to the beat, so I separate the head and its components. If you plan on making the eyes blink, pay attention to how I separate the parts of the eye. The brows, the top lash, the eyelid, and the inside of the eye. Do split these into left and right components. For hair, it's best to split it into locks if you want more realistic hair physics. Me personally, I made these bangs one piece, and then I split my sideburns or side bangs or whatever you want to call them, and I have a buzz cut to hide that I'm bald underneath. As for my Sona's iconic maid crown and bow, I split the bow into two parts so that they swing as I bob my head, and the crown is also on its own. Since the meme is basically a character holding a me, I have the hand split as well as the arm. Here's the main body in its entirety, the left arm, left forearm, and just in case, I also separated the pendant and also the ruffles for layering's sake. Oh, and I also have a mini bow here, which I will show you how I apply physics to later. Also, these things at the back of her head are quote-unquote hair clips. And if you're wondering, Shy, where the heck are your pigtails? Basically, my Sona's hair is inspired by Princess Luna from My Little Pony, and they move a certain way because they're made of ink. Therefore, I'm gonna do that separately in After Effects. So just a quick walkthrough of the parts: brow, bangs, lash, eye, bow, crown, bald cap, head, body, bow, ruffles, sleeves, arms, body, pendant. You're welcome. I feel like you'll understand all this better in the next segment when I animate everything. Making illustrations for rigging are a matter of trial and error. I often go into animating wishing that I split this part or merged those parts, so don't worry about perfection on your first attempt. Before we animate though, make sure you get rid of any unnecessary layers like backgrounds and all that. Oh, and make sure your layers are not grouped into folders, cause we're going to regroup them anyway inside of After Effects. Once all your layers are sorted, just make sure to resize if you drew in a higher resolution, and then save the file as a PSD. Alright, now that you prepared your artwork, let's get this party started in After Effects. You're gonna make a new project file and have your size and frame rate set up. I'm gonna copy the size I used to post this animation, but you can use whatever you want honestly, and whatever fits your vision. As for the frame rate, I'm gonna go with 30 FPS. Next, drag your PSD into After Effects, and make sure the import kind is composition, retain layer sizes, and make sure your edit style is set to editable layer styles before hitting OK. And now if you double click into the composition, you should see all your parts. Now's the time to bring in your audio. I'm gonna use this remix of the Tomodachi Life soundtrack, and I'm going to drag the file into After Effects. I prefer to put it all the way at the bottom, and there we go. And I'm gonna shorten the composition to the audio by shift dragging the work area, and then I'm gonna hit Control-Shift-S, and now your clip is as long as the audio itself. Now, to make sure our animation is on beat, we need to mark. This is easily my favorite part of making any animation meme, but wait a minute, we need to fix the shortcut. As far as I know, After Effects doesn't come with an easy shortcut for creating a marker, so let's fix that. Under Edit and Keyboard Shortcuts, search for Marker. Now what you're gonna do is delete the existing shortcut for Add Layer Marker and replace it with something convenient like this key. And I'm gonna hit OK. As I said, this is easily my favorite part. And basically what you're gonna do is make sure while you're not selecting any layer, and if you are, just click on it again, like click outside of the name, and you're gonna close your eyes, press spacebar, and vibe to the rhythm while pressing the mark key. Open your eyes and you see almost uniform spaces between each marker, congrats! You're gonna be on beat. Now that your audio is marked and you're satisfied with a beat, you're gonna right-click between the markers and lock them so that they don't move anywhere. I also suggest locking the audio layer. Oh yeah, and hey, sorry I keep edging the actual animation part, but this will make your life so much easier, so hear me out. Anything to do with the hair that goes in front of the head, you're going to select all those layers like the bangs, your sideburns, and then you're gonna press Control-Shift-C, and you're going to create a pre-comp. And make sure Adjust Composition Duration to the time span of selected layers is checked, and I'm gonna name this Bangs. If you open it and all your hairs are there, yippee, you did it right. And you're gonna do the same thing with the eyes. Anything to do with the eyes, select them all. I'm gonna leave the brows out of this because I want them to go in front of the bangs and I'm not going to animate them. So I'm gonna Control-Shift-C everything to do with the eyes, and I'm gonna name the composition eyes. There we go. The reason we're putting certain parts together in compositions is so we can isolate them for like really specific animations like eye blinking and hair physics, which I will teach you later. When it comes to tweening, we need to make sure certain parts move with the others, the same way your arm moves with your shoulder and your hands move with your arms, etc. To do that, we're gonna parent layers to each other. Select everything that goes with your head, like your brows, your bangs, your eyes, your crown, your bow, your hair, and you're going to take this pick whip icon and you're going to drag it to the head, and you'll notice that they're all parented to the head. What does that mean? If you move the head, they all move with it. Yay! I'm also gonna make sure the hair clips are also parented to the head since they're hair clips. Oopsies. Voila. And also we gotta parent the head to the body, and now I'm gonna parent the arm to the forearm and the forearm to the body. I'm gonna parent the arm R since I'm gonna parent arm R since the right forearm is part of the main body. I'm gonna parent it to the main body as well. And don't forget the pendant and also the two bows right here, mini bow L and mini bow R. Those are going to be parented to the main body. This arm right here, it needs to be parented to forearm L. And if you did everything right and you move the body, everything should move with it, basically. And any movement you make will impact the child. Finally, let's get started with animation. To animate the head bopping to the beat, click on the head layer and then click this slot right here to solo it. Soloing basically makes sure the layer you selected is the only thing you see on the preview window. And if you're wondering why my preview is crap, I set it to quarter, so it'll play back faster and render faster. But don't worry, your illustration is still high quality once you put it back to full. But to make it render faster, just set the preview quality to quarter. Anywho, back to the head. I'm going to take the pan behind tool right up here, and I'm going to drag the anchor point all the way down like where the neck should be. If you did it right, that means you can press R and it'll bring out the rotation property, and it'll basically rotate with all the parts. So I'm going to alt scroll on the timeline to lengthen the space between each beat so I can easily scroll between them. Now follow my lead. Back to the rotation property of the head, I'm going to go to the very start and press on the stopwatch icon. Then I'm going to shift drag the playhead until it's snapped to the first beat, and I'm going to click this diamond icon to make the second keyframe. I'm going to estimate roughly the middle, like around 7 to 8 frames. I'm gonna go with the 8th frame, and I'm going to do another keyframe right here using the diamond icon. In this very center keyframe, I'm going to dip the head a little low, just like that. And if you play it back, it's not okay. I'm gonna be so for real with you. And on top of that, it doesn't even loop. So let's select all these keyframes and we're gonna turn them into smooth keyframes. So press F9 on your keyboard to make them smooth, and then go to your graph editor. Make sure you are on the edit value graph, and if you play that back, it looks okay, but I want it to have more impact. So I'm going to go point by point, and I'm going to shift drag the Bezier handles to make a narrow hill. Just like that. Maybe a little bit like this. And look, so it eases in slowly and then it dips down fast. Just like this. So remember Powerloop, click on it, click on the rotation property, and click loop cycle, this second button right here, and it should loop the entire head bob animation. Watch this. Now you might have noticed, it's a bit too fast, Shy. Let's fix that. And yeah, that's my mistake. While selecting all the keyframes, alt drag the last one so that you're evenly spacing the keyframes while lengthening the time between them. It's on beat, but it's not as impactful as before. So now, as I said, animating is trial and error. Now, I just taught you the process that applies to every single limb of my character. I'm gonna add another motion to the head and apply the same technique, except instead of rotating, I'm gonna make the head move up and down in a straight line. So clicking on the head, press P to bring out the position property, and now we're going to right click and separate the dimensions. This will split the position property into two, X position and Y position. We only need Y position, so go to the very start and click the stopwatch icon. Now press on head and click U twice on your keyboard, and this should bring out all your animated properties. And now I'm going to shift drag to using the keyframes as reference, and I'm going to snap to each one and use the diamond icon once again to create keyframes right on top of them. And then on the middle, as the head dips down, I am going to dip the head down as well, just like that, just a little bit. And once again, these are straight or linear keyframes, as you can see, so we're gonna change them to smooth keyframes, once again, using F9. Select all your linear keyframes and press F9 to smooth them once again, and going to the value graph, once again, right click and make sure you're on the value graph. You're going to basically do the same thing as last time, but on the flip side. We're going to take the handles, shift and drag them so that it's a bit narrow and lucky. Has a bit more impact, don't you think? So now we're going to do the same thing as last time. Select the Y position, and we're going to press loop out cycle right here. And it should loop out the head movement. Yay, you're head bopping. So I'm gonna apply the same exact concept to the rest of the limbs. And because of that, I'm going to leave the head layer uncollapsed so we can see the keyframes, because since these are on beat, we're going to use these as reference. And the markers we did earlier, sure, they're kind of useless now, but it's all right. Again, trial and error. So I'm going to go to the hand, and just like I did to the head, I'm going to solo it, and I'm going to use the pan behind tool, and I'm going to shift the anchor point to where the wrist is at. And then I'm going to unsolo, and then I'm going to bring out the rotation property, and as I taught you, stopwatch on the very start, shift drag to the middle, and create more keyframes. And as her head dips down, I'm gonna make her wrist also dip downwards, like that. And again, turn the linear keyframes into smooth ones with F9, go into the graph, go into the graph editor right here, and make sure the Bezier handles are narrowed like this. Now, if you want to do something interesting, like make it have a little bit of delay, so not everything, you can try tilting the Bezier handles so that the curve looks like this, and then a little bit like this, and looky, and it has a little bit of a bounce to it. And once again, click the Powerloop button, and it should loop out each time. See? Pretty sick, isn't it? So yeah, I'm basically going to apply the same concept to every single limb right now. So sit back, relax, and watch me do it. I'm gonna do something a little unorthodox and against my own rule. I'm basically gonna go ahead and unparent the head from the body because I want to make her shoulders seem like they're moving while her head is bopping. So I'm gonna go to the main body and once again separate the dimensions of the position property, and I'm going to animate the Y position just like I did the other parts. Now that we have our basic animation together, let's move on to a more complex subject. Eye blinking. Double click that eye comp to open it and you should see everything to do with the eyes. Feel free to start with whichever eye you want, left or right. I'll start with the right eye, and I'll start with the right eye by soloing the inside of the eye, this IR part. And then I'll take this pen tool while making sure you're selecting the part and mask around it as close as possible. There you have it. And if I disable the transparency grid, it should look something like this. Okay, so how are we gonna keyframe the eyes blinking? Now, as you know, blinking is super fast, like ranging from 0.1 seconds to 0.4 in real life. You can probably do the maths by multiplying 0.4 with your frame rate. With 30 frames per second, that means you take 12 frames to blink. So I'm gonna go roughly, or exactly to the 12th frame, and under mask path, I am going to set the stopwatch icon right there, and I'm gonna go back to the start, and then I'm gonna set another keyframe right there, and then I go to the very, roughly the middle, and I'm going to set another keyframe right there. Now, right here, while you're selecting the IR layer, make sure you're using the selection tool, and now do your best to fold the mask as close as possible to an eye blinking. Watch. Now, watch this. That looks like an eye blinking. Kind of. Let's once again fix it in the graph editor. But before that, we need to set the cycle of the next blink. This doesn't have an exact number, but I'm gonna go a little bit forward in time, like maybe a second, maybe a second later, and I'm going to set another keyframe there, which will basically define the next time the eye blinks when you loop it. Now let's ignore this keyframe right here and focus on the first 3 right here. If you go into the graph editor, you'll notice it's flat. Why? Well, that's because the thing with mass paths, it doesn't have a value. It's a path. You can't really graph the value of a mass path over time, but you can graph the speed of the animation over time, which is what we'll do. So select these 3 keyframes right here and press, you guessed it, F9. And we're going to do something very familiar, but a little different. So we're going to create a valley. A very narrow valley. Take the Bezier handle right here and drag it toward the center. Take this one right here, also drag it towards the center. And as for the center keyframe, drag both Bezier handles to the center, and you'll know you did it right if it looks like this. Now, that looks like it's blinking. Let's ignore this for now, and let's go to the top lash. What we're gonna do now is make sure the lash goes down each time we blink, basically. So I'm going to bring out the position property, set a stopwatch icon to the very start, and then I'm going to follow the keyframes exactly, and I'm going to bring down the lash. Now I've realized this lash right here looks off, so I'm gonna go ahead and alter it by making it completely invisible. And honestly, might as well just get rid of this whole thing by holding it completely inwards. And we have our character blinking, but we need it to be snappy. So before we graph, go to the 4th keyframe to define the next blink cycle and set a keyframe right there. Now go back to the first 3 keyframes and press F9 to smooth them out. Now make sure you're editing the speed graph, not the value graph here, by right-clicking on the graph and selecting Edit Speed Graph. Create the same shape as before. It looks a little weird, doesn't it? You could technically fix this by playing around with the graphs. You could fix it a little with the graphs, but it's too fast to notice, like if you go back to the comp, so don't worry too much about it. But what I would do to make this less noticeable is add motion blur. Therefore, when it happens, it'll blur everything out so that the viewers don't really notice it. Now, we can improve this by adding like a position keyframe to the inside of the eye as well. And once again, set your keyframes the way I set them up as usual. And in the middle, instead of making them go down, I'm gonna make them go up. Just like that. F9, and then create the same shape as I did before on the speed graph. And you can play around with the Bezier handles to make sure it's more smooth. And now I'm basically going to select the layers that I animated, press U on them twice to bring out all their animated properties, go into each property and apply the loop out cycle to them. And voila, your character should be blinking. Now let's apply it to the other eye, and I'll see you after that. So, there you have it. I taught you how to make your character blink. It's not perfect, but it's not that noticeable from a distance, I hope. But I just taught you how to make your character blink. Okay, now this next part is so easy that you can speedrun it. Head into your hair comp and then just select whatever the heck you want to do first. I'm gonna go with this left sideburn. I'm gonna take the puppet pin tool and I'm gonna give it like 2 anchors right here, and I'm going to make evenly spaced puppet pin points right here, and I'm going to go into U to like find all our animations. I'm going to disable the first 2 so that these are considered anchors, and then I'm going to go into AFP script launcher, go into AFPHairRIg, and make sure it's on puppet pins, run it, boom, you have hair physics. What the fuck? This plugin is free, by the way. How the fuck did you do that? Same shit, just anchors and then evenly spaced points, just like that. Disable the first 2 puppet pins so that they serve as anchor points, and then run the script once again, and holy shit, you have moving hairs. We'll fix how crazy that looks, don't worry, but let's take care of the bangs right here. This is a chunky boy. It is 1 piece. How I'm gonna go about this might be a little bit tricky, but I'm gonna go with 1, 2, and 3 anchor points up here. And I'm gonna go into the animation, just disable those. And then I'm going to make a bunch of evenly spaced points right here. I'm gonna run the script, and yeah, I mean, it looks crazy. That's why I suggest you split your hair into more chunks than that. But let's fix it together, shall we? If you go into the master controller layer, you're wondering, what is this? When did I create this? Actually, the AFPHairRIg actually made this so that you can control all your physics. If you want like your hair to be blowing like with the wind and like from a specific point, check this box right here and use this button right here to make your wind start point. I'm gonna make it from right here. And it looks crazy, I know, but let's look at the master amp slider and the master freak slider. Master amp is the amplitude or the intensity of your hair animation. You just slide this number, it's going to make extreme changes even though it doesn't look like much. So instead, we are going to reduce it by decimals. And to do that, you hold Control while dragging. Play it back, see if you like it. Yeah, that looks cool. That looks nice, honestly. And for the freak slider, it's actually frequency. It's basically how fast your animation is. And once again, I'm going to make micro changes. Yeah, it looks like it's a little faster right now, but I would appreciate a bit more amplitude. That looks about right. You can also adjust them individually. If you go into each part, you can adjust them individually just like that. I basically just taught you everything you need to know. And like I said in the prerequisites, not only is AFPHairRIg just for hair, but you can also apply it to your clothes. Like, for example, these mini bows right here, so I can get some nice wind blowing animation here and there. Now I'm gonna add some finishing touches like the swinging bow and the swinging pendant. Here is the final animation after everything. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one, and I genuinely hope you guys learned something. I'm sorry to my friends mostly for taking this long to make a tutorial. So yeah, that is all for today. If you have any requests for tutorials, do let me know in the comment section. And bye bye!